Hello everybody and welcome back on planticaly. My name is Amar, and as you can see, I am currently not in Vienna, in my hometown. I am on a short vacation trip to Austria, Vienna, for a few days. A vacation, see new sights, get a bit fresh air, and just enjoying a bit relaxation. And today I wanted to visit the Botanical Garden of Vienna, and thus I wanted to take you all with me visiting it. I only heard great things about it from my good friends that are from Austria, and yes, I'm very excited. So let's get to it.
The Botanical Garden of Vienna is a rather small garden, in my opinion, but what it lacks in its initial size, it makes up for being connected to the larger garden complex of Schloss Belverden. During this part of the year of early spring, the bamboo grove of the garden was one of the highlights, I thought. Here were many squirrels wandering about, and the feeling to have being towered over by bamboo, which is essentially part of the grass family, is a very odd one. You feel very small, and it's an interesting feeling, yes. Even though this was more of a park-like setting for me, I quite enjoyed it very much, for it was very calm in there, and yeah, it was very refreshing. I could really feel the essence of spring coming in this giant field of snowdrops and crocuses. It was an amazing sight, yes. Now we're entering the only public greenhouse, the Tropenhaus, the tropic house. Immediately the ambience shifted as I entered the greenhouse. It was very warm in it, obviously, and just this evergreen plants. It was just a refreshing feeling. In every nook and cranny, you could see different things, like here, uh, palm seedlings, and then also a few snails. I always find it incredibly satisfying to follow a tree from its roots through its trunk and shaft up to the canopy above me, seeing the greenery unfold up there in the sunlight. Here we have, I think it was a cardboard palm of a great size, and it was very stunning, I thought, and also a large, very large bird of paradise plant, and just those large, stunning, big plants is always a great feeling to have around. But I not only like those, I also admire the little plants, the understory, the undergrowth of forests and jungles, and of the here simulated environment. And yeah, I love how there are so many little secrets hiding in plain sight. And yes, there are so many of them. I love it. Here, they used Fittonia as a creeping plant to carpet, you could call it, the entire ground of this little area of the greenhouse. And I admire how it dominates the undergrowth there and how it brings a point of interest below those large and immense and great trees. So there's always something to find. This desert greenhouse full of succulents and cacti. We can't sadly go inside, but we can have a little peek inside through the glass panel windows of this greenhouse. This lovely walk through the Botanical Garden of Vienna, and tomorrow we will visit the Hirschstettengarten Gardens in Vienna, for there are currently the International Orchid Market, der Internationale Orchideenmarkt. It's like an orchid expo, and I'm quite excited to visit it. And yes, let's have some fun.
Hello again, and as you can see, it's evening now. I had a lot of fun today. It was great, that garden, magnificent. It was very cute, I think, with all those little animals roaming around, and that Orchid Expo, the International Orchid Ausstellung, and the Orchid Market was just amazing. I loved it. There were so many different sites and also fumes and smells and such. Well, fumes is maybe the wrong word, but the fragrance of those orchids was just amazing, and As you maybe have already noticed in the clips before, I have bought myself a little something. I went there thinking that I maybe will buy something, and there were a lot of things that tickled my interest, like those Nepenthes and other orchids, but the thing is, I am rather cautious that I want to buy a plant for a good price. No, I'm not going to pay 95 euros for a vendor orchid, but also if I want a plant, I intend to keep it alive for as long as possible. And so I got myself a little plant. It's not so much of a, the plant in and of itself is not much of a rarity. It's well, sorry for the noise. It's Phalaenopsis orchid, but it has something very interesting about it, which I think all of you will agree on. For let me take off the wrapper. Sorry for the crunchy noise. It's God damn it. The guy from the market did tape it very well together. So now, so this is it. A variegated Phalaenopsis orchid. It's just amazing. I have never seen one in person. I've seen them on the internet, but not for sale. And also, a lot of those vendors had most of the same plants all around, and which doesn't make them less exclusive or interesting. But that one vendor, that one company, was the only one with variegated orchids. This is a Phalaenopsis chaya e Yenlin variegata. Yes, and do you? It's just amazing, and it has 3 flower spikes, which I hope next season when they flower again, it will also produce 3 again. For I have 2 Phalaenopsis, one rather large one, and a smaller one, which has gotten large over the time, but you know, in relation to each other, I have a small and a large one. And that one orchid, the large one, always produces just 1 flower spike, and the smaller one always 2. So I hope, and it's in a good pot, which as soon as as it finished flowering, I will repot it. But the fruits, they are green and just in a very good condition. And if you don't know orchids, a rule of thumb is brown roots, dead roots. They are nothing of value, so to speak. Gray roots are roots that aren't hydrated, and green ones are roots that have been saturated with water. And all of them in the pot, those airy roots are obviously grey, but all of those in the pot are green and healthy and strong, and it's just an amazing flower. All in all, a flowering plant. I am super excited about it. For well, some aren't really interested about variegation. I am a bit interested about it, for it's a natural occurring mutation, and also as it also produces a little bit of well, the white stuff, so to speak, is doesn't have chlorophyll. The green part of the plant obviously does, but there's also red parts, which I guess is from sun stressing. Maybe you can see it. Can you see it? Yeah, there, this pink shimmer on the side, thing you see is anthocyanin. It's a red coloring which is produced as plants get sunstressed. With some might notice it about Hoyas. Hoyas get sunstressed very easily and are just lovely. And some did rather buy plants with a good fragrance. I also love good fragrance, obviously. I'm human like you all, but not many of the plants did have a fragrance at the moment, obviously. You cannot control nature, but so if I buy a plant for its fragrance mainly and only hear about its good fragrance and then in person it might not have a good fragrance, but also it doesn't produce the smell, the fragrance when it's not flowering. But this plant has just a good healthy foliage, but also this variegation, the foliage I can see all year round and can admire it. That's why I bought it. And to be honest, this plant, guess how much it was? Guess. It was 20 euros. I don't know how much it is in dollars, but it's just very cheap for such an amazing plant. And it was a great deal. And there were many great deals, but like I need to travel from Vienna up through all of Austria, through Bavaria, back to my hometown of Jena. So I cannot just that that was amazing. I from the train station, I walked to the garden, to the Hirschstettengarten, and I was like, where is it? Hopefully I find it. And there just came a lot of people from that direction past me with just um, baggages full of plants and orchids, and it was hilarious to see, but also very cute for it were a lot of young people, all orchid enthusiasts, but also a lot of older people, just a lot of locals that just went there and bought some. I had a lovely conversation with an older lady, which also bought a variegated Phalaenopsis, and all in all, I would say it was a great experience. I will add footage, better footage of the plant when I'm back in Vienna and I have unwrapped it from the plastic. I will keep it in plastic for as long as possible for my trip. For I need to travel a long way, but yes, I enjoyed it a lot. And if I have the time for it, I would love to visit it also next year again. So I hope you enjoyed this week's video, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed this little haul at the end, and maybe leave in the comments below which plant you would have bought. And yes, we will see each other next Friday, and leave a like, a subscription maybe, even if you're so kind. And yes, see ya, bye.